Okay, y'all. I was just playing a little carols for y'all this morning as y'all come on in. I was just doing something like that, of course. Let's get back into the Lord because when you play something on YouTube, I don't want to get hit with a copy claim, so I have to cut it down. Turn up to Zion, beautiful city of God. I said we're marching, we're marching. I know I had to share this one with y'all today. Just give me a minute. I'm trying to get things together here. See, I'm not the type that wait for everybody to come in. I like to get my conversation popping. Let's giving God thanks this day for waking us up this morning, allowing us to see a day which we all have not seen before. And every day that God has given us, He's given us another chance to get what we didn't get right yesterday, get it right today. To God be all the glory. Our Father who art in the heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us, Lord, this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who have trespassed against us. Lord, lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thy you are the kingdom, the power, the glory forever and ever. Amen. Amen. Woo! Y'all, I got a good one for y'all today. I was looking for somebody that was going to talk about this one because I did see it, and somebody did do a I'm sorry, somebody did do some parts of this video on another platform, but I was never ever able to find it again so I could show it to you when these protesters was out there with the American flag and they took a bullhorn and he had the flag and they blew the horn in his face, and homeboy gave all three of them a beat down by himself. Okay, he was a MAGA supporter. He was out there supporting ICE, and he was out there just waving the flag for "Make America Great Again, Make America Great." And these protesters thought they was going to try to intimidate him, and they came and they took his flag, and he gave them a serious beatdown. Okay, and he's only one man by himself, taking these punk protesters. See, the thing is, I already did a comparison to what the Conservative Party value stands for, what the Conservative Party values stand for, and what the liberal lunatic left stands for. And at some point of your life, when you get a certain age, your values are different. You understand? As an older woman, okay, and you raising a family and you got grandchildren, maybe your children, your grandchildren, you want to see them grow up in a society where they cannot have to deal with the stuff we seeing out here in the public today. What we see today, how far these children got away from values, how we just allowed our kids to just run rampant wild into the world. And some people just dropped them off here and gave them no direction whatsoever. And those values became like sort of kind of, out of the way. Like they just like override all the good values that American families that still hold on to. And that's what they mean about making America great again. Get back into your home life and, discipline your children. Because when you don't, this is the life they gonna choose out in the world. Discipline your kids. So the conservative values, as I learned, as I'm going over some reflection of even my own life, and I said, you know what, I was never meant to be. I mean, I had to go through that season so I could see the difference of being when I was a Democrat to now where I'm like in between things. I'm like not a Democrat, but I'm registered as a Democrat. You know what I'm saying? But I'm still like sort of like more on conservative values. So the Democrat values, the Democrat, they values, they don't have any. I don't know. They don't have any. we gonna go all through all of that as we go along through. Right now we are in the midterms or whatever for the elections and stuff like that, but right now just take a good look at things, if as a family, as a mom, of what Renee Good, even though they trying to overshadow her, the good mothers out there, the ones who died really are victims out there, like Lake and Raleigh. Another young lady, I just her father was on one of the platforms the other day, and they said they not out there for my daughter. They from Guatemala. His daughter was also, well, his daughter died because it was a criminal that was driving, that she died from a really tragic car accident from a criminal that they were chasing, and he kind of ran into her and she died through from that incident, you know. And so they had the father on the platform, and what they need to do is they need to bring more families on the platform, that families that have been their children been victims of these dangerous illegal criminals. But they trying to overshadow the good ones, the real victims, and they trying to put this Renee Good girl out there who wasn't good. But we're going to get into that conversation. But back to what I'm saying here, I'm going to go into this video, of course. um Matter of fact, he put 5 of them to sleep. Okay, 5. He knocked them the freak out. Okay, he ain't had no gun. He didn't threaten them with no gun. He was just out there, just enjoying himself, waving his flag and supporting the ICE agents out there and everything, giving them some, lifting up their spirit, because they work for America. They work for the federal government. They trying to keep America safe, and they doing their job. And agitators come out there, get in their face. You should see how they yell in their face and try to intimidate them and throwing things at them. And after a while, you out there for the time they be out there and the stuff you got to deal with. After a while, you going to start getting hostile and rough. Okay? And people need to see that. See, these people expect that people are going to just continue to sit up there and let them get up in their face and do stupid things. And these men have a right to defend themselves, protect themselves at any cost. Okay? When you feel threatened, you have every right to. That's why they tell you they're doing heavy operations in the area. Please try to stay, if you can, away from where they will be doing the heavy ICE operations. But these people just these agitators come out there, they being paid and funded by paid. And the sad part about it is a lot of women who are leading these protests. And even in some liberal church where they need to go check out that church. Okay, somebody need to find out who that church is and close the doors of that church until they get it to become a real church. Because ain't no church should be having something like that inside the church, in the house of God. I'm sorry, they should not be teaching how to resist ICE arrest. This is what they teaching in a church, a liberal leftist church. Okay, that's why you got to be careful what kind of places you go to worship at. That's saying they worshiping God, but some people worshiping some strange other gods. Okay, so anyway, let's get into this video. A true patriot, or MAGA man as he's known on the internet, who single-handedly took on a bunch of anti-ICE protesters all by himself. Like literally, all by himself. Yeah, he was handing out 2 pieces, putting guys to sleep. Chance. Anyways, let's just wait. Yeah, they messing with him. He's knocking their asses out. That MAGA boy is whipping their ass.
Hey, guys. I told you guys that'll be the most satisfying video you'll watch. Anyways, judging by this clip, it appears the guy was just minding his own business, counter-protesting peacefully by himself.
See, I wish I could have got a much quality video for you where they really showed exactly everything. And the video I saw, they showed exactly everything. He was minding his business. He was out there supporting the ICE agents as a MAGA supporter, and they came fucking with him, putting a bullhorn in his face, jumping on his face, and he taking all five of them motherfuckers down. Like, I know that's right. Shit, y'all fuck with them conservative kids. They families brought them up with values and everything. And let me tell you something, they invest in their children. They made sure their children learned how to survive and how to defend themselves. That's why they put them in these military schools. They put them in these dongo. That's why they invest in their kids to go to military school, to their boys and sons and everything, how to fight. They put them in karate. They put them in jitsu and all kind of other shit. I wouldn't be surprised if that motherfucker know jitsu. Kick their ass out there. That's right. Sometimes you ain't gonna have a gun in your hand, but you better learn some other kind of way to defend yourself. Self-defense. Now I took karate. Now I did take some karate when I was a kid. I don't know if I could do all that kicking and punching now, but it's good to learn those skills because you never know when you're gonna need them. See, we took that away from everybody. Want to put a gun in their hand? No, get out there and battle in the field. That boy was whooping their ass. He whipped their ass. They think the conservative kids are so. They think they what they call nerds and geeky and whatever. No, they discipline. They discipline. It's them damn liberal kids out there fucking the world up like that. Nobody taught them, and they always try to make it sound like it was the Republican kids. Let me tell you something. I was a Democrat, still registered as one. And I could tell you the difference. When I work in my field of work as an early educator, and I have to work with families, and most of the centers, the early education centers and early schools, I worked in the public schools, I worked in the early education centers, and I also worked with some enrichment programs. Okay. God has been sending me on a tour. And the thing is that I realized that when I work with some certain communities, like when I worked with the conservative families, for one thing, they stayed engaged with their children education, even with posters. They'll send me a note. They'll send something, let me know if their child ain't going to be in for the day, or they send me something that'll let me know ahead of time. Even when they pick up their child at pickup time, they'll say, oh, so and so, he'll be going, he has a so and so appointment, he won't be coming in today on such and such a day. And they make sure they keep sending me in my tadpole or whatever kind of way that we used our way of communication with our teachers and our families, and on dojo and all these other things that we use so that we could stay in communication about what our children are doing throughout the day, and keeping them up on their curriculum and everything else of that matter. My conservative families always stayed engaged. They always made it like they knew this was important for their children, and they knew it was important for the educator as well, that we also get to build that relationship and collaborate, and so their child will have a successful early education. Then you get these liberals that getting help through the government assistance programs. They help for their children's child care and education or whatever. They don't communicate with you. They don't stay engaged. They just come drop their kids off. Sometimes they bring their kids in with bringing them in with food in the morning, which we made it very clear to families not to bring your children with breakfast unless you know, they can eat it and everything, but we would recommend that you will not do it because then it becomes a problem for, us with the food, because there's a lot of parents that children that come in the center, they kids got allergies to certain types of food. So that's why we try to be careful with what we allow some things to go on inside our programs that we can't allow to happen because of that reason, because of certain food allergies. And we also give the family our nutritional program. like what we feed our children throughout the day, what kind of foods we offer to the children, we offer to them. And if sometimes parents are like, they feel more comfortable just sending their children with their own lunch, that's fine. Their own breakfast, that's fine. But it has to be under our guidelines. Okay? So anyway, you get these ignorant parents who's being, they getting supplement did from they for their kids through these agencies and through these programs, early education programs. And when they give them these early education programs, guess what they do? They come in, they don't communicate with you. They drop their kid off. They'll say hi, good morning, whatever. Oh, you tell them about parents and teachers meetings. You tell them about days that we're having a conference with parents and teachers conference and everything. Sign up for the conference and sign up if you're going to be able to attend. Oh, you know what these parents do? Most parents do. Most of these kids' parents do that come from these supplement programs. They don't communicate with you. They don't even tell you if they coming or if they not coming. They don't call. They don't leave a note. They don't do none of that. And then when you do see, when they do drop their kids off in the morning in their classroom or pick their kids up in the evening, and then you will ask them, oh, you going to come to the parents and teachers conference we're going to have on such and such a time? We can arrange with time. We try to meet with your schedule or whatever time we're going to be open till 7, what time you can be in or whatever. We try to be that way to make it easy, at least give 10 minutes or 15 minutes of your time to find out what your child has been doing and where your child is at in his her educational growth and what we can do to work with your child to help your child wherever they are right now having a hard time, where we can be able to help you and assist you with that. But no, these parents don't communicate. But then their kids get services for some so-called autism and all this other, and majority of these families that come in are belonging to Democrats. And it's a system that is that way for a reason, that they don't care whether your child going to learn or not. It's all about the Benjamins. But these parents that know they work hard and they invested in their children's education and their children's future, they stay engaged. They don't protest that kind of way. The way they protest, they go to their children, they engage in their children's education, and also even with policies they don't like. They don't go out there in the streets and try to, meet it on the streets and noise and all of that other stuff. They meet up with their civic in their community, civic council meetings or whatever they might have in their communities. They talk about things that's going on in the community, what they can do to help the community. I just went to one just not too long ago, the other day, around where I live, about what's going on in our, development here. That's where I live, but we go to those meetings. They post a sign. We go out there. We go see what they have to speak about, what things we can do to help this development here. We have to pay our dues and all that other stuff. Those are the things they get involved with. Even things like holidays, like Christmas, if they want to decorate our front area of our entrance of our development, we can all get together and have a whole bunch of people that will come around and do those things. We got people that will be bringing certain things, like when your dues are due or something's going on in the community. They'll come, they leave a note under the door, let you know what's taking place and be at this meet. It's all kind of things going on that we get involved with. We don't do the street stuff, okay? I don't do it anyway. I really never did. But I'm just saying, like, some things can be resolved in a more way of how you communicate. How you got to push ahead for your future, for your children and your children. But these liberal leftists, they don't take that. They just all about noise, chaos. That's all they do. You see it. That's why probably President Trump allowed it in Minnesota to go on as long as it did, so people can really see them for who they are. And they still trying to direct it, trying to mislead you. And they also still trying to tell you, oh, Trump, Trump, Trump. They blaming Trump for everything. Trump inherited all of this from the Democrats. Okay? This that we got going on right now is what you see is what we inherited from the Biden and Harris leaving borders open. And notice that the places they live, you won't see all that noise. I ain't got that problem over here with Biden, and I'm in his district. I'm in his state. That should tell you something. He ain't gonna bring that shit over here. He's not. Because the people here ain't gonna allow him to do that, even though they Democrats. But they not. Well, not everybody over here is a Democrat. I'm gonna keep it real with you, because believe it or not, even though this is a state, there's more Republicans than there is Democrats living in Delaware, the blue state. There's more Republicans in Delaware, but they vary. And the thing about it, I'm gonna tell you like this: the thing about it is that they're quiet. You'll find most of the Democrats in Wilmington, in those places, like more in the areas where it's like the low income families and stuff like that in this state, but you don't find them in the suburbs. They're not in the suburbs. Okay? They're not loud. They're not out here wilding out and having all kind of chaos going on. But you'll find the noisy ones in the city. That's what mostly the Democrats are. They in the black churches and they in the ghettos. They in every place in the area where all the people that are marginalized, the people that are poor and struggling. At one time, they wasn't always like that though. I'm not gonna say this is why. The Democrats was about the working family. They were about the working family. And they were doing things for the working families. They had the unions, they had all of that going on, the blue collar jobs and everything. That's who they were. And now they became too liberal. Too liberal. At one time, they had restraint. They had some kind of structure. I swear to you not. When my parents' time and everything, they had structure. But now they do. I don't know when did we started turning this way. I don't know when we really started turning this way to become so ratchet and so low life and just throw all the values away and just let people just do whatever they want. It wasn't like this at one time in the Democrats' time, but it became very too liberal. It gotten really out of control because what's going on in Minnesota, and I think because of the media, is what makes it even worse. What makes it even worse is what the media does. You'd be surprised how many people, okay, don't really know what took place in Minnesota with the shooting with the ICE agent about this good woman, because the media trying to paint her as if she was some poor mom taking her kids to school, dropping her kid off from school, or picking her kid up from school, something like that. And she was parked and she was waiting for her friend. And no, we saw the video. The girl sitting right there whistling and bonking her horns, bonking the horns in the middle of the high and blocking traffic. And even her own father-in-law said that if she was really still with the Lord and doing the things as a Christian, she wouldn't have never been there. Make it, she wouldn't have never been there because she was on that path before as a Christian lady and doing things, but somehow she chose another path. She chose another path. She started running with the liberals. I don't know, maybe because she was at her point in her life where she lost her husband. That can lead to some bad company. When you alone and you're a mother and you just went through burying a husband and everything, that can also lead to some bad company around you. You don't, people start coming around and you don't know what people start pushing into your head. And she got with this dyke. And that changed her whole way of thinking. Okay? So I'm not saying that it's good for somebody to die and some children to go without a mother, but I'm just saying that you got to make better choices when you become a certain age and when you got certain responsibilities, especially when you got children. You can't be out there, a middle-aged woman out there in the middle of the street battling with ICE agents. Your job is to just like, hey, I got my child at home. My child is in school. I want to make sure I make it to pick up my child. I want to be alive to pick up my child so my child can see me alive. So I don't want to leave my child an orphan because he lost his or she lost their dad and they got me. And I can't, those something should have went off in your head, but you out there battling with ICE agents. And you got small young children. You got a small young child that needs you. Ain't no love better than a mother's love when you're a child. Nothing's better than the mommy's love. For better or for worse, mommy is there for you. Like no other. Sad. But anyway, y'all gotta come back with y'all something later. Let me get myself together and go do something. I just wanted to just bring this video to you about this badass MAGA. He gave them the beat down. I wish I could find a video where it could just without him putting all of this other. I guess he had to cover it up for the video reads for some reason. But I just wanted to just show you that. Maybe you could look around and maybe you could find some on your own about how this young man went out there and knocked these motherfuckers out. Okay, that was trying to get up in his face and intimidate him. He gave them the business. Boy, anyway, y'all, I gotta go. God bless you, love you, and be safe. Peace.